Goku was a little cutie when he was this age, wasn't he?
This is what my husband looked like when we first met as little kids. Goten is the spitting image of him, isn't he?
I remember how shocked I was when I met somebody with a tail for the first time. This is such a nostalgic look for him. I've known Krillin for what feels like forever. He was such a precocious little snot back then. But look at how much he's grown.
With his martial arts skills, he's teamed up with Goku and the others to protect our planet countless times. He's even got a lovely wife and daughter.
Considering how many times he's been wished back to life by the Dragon Balls, I'd say he's almost as tough as a Saiyan.
Wonder how many years we've known Yamcha for now. Back in the day, he was a bandit, known as the Desert Hyena.
This is one of Goku's childhood friends. And Bulma's ex-boyfriend.
Wait, for real?
Sure was. I dumped his sorry butt after he cheated on me. But to be fair, he has grown into a really good dude since then.
Wonder what his love life is like these days. Hope he finds somebody.
Goku's been rivals with this guy for years. Now he owns his own dojo in the mountains to train the next generation of martial artists.
An eyeball on his forehead? Huh. I wonder what the world looks like through his eyes.
Huh? Now I'm trying to picture three-eyed shades.
Actually, that's a good point. I should make some special sunglasses for him.
This old fossil is a legendary martial artist who's trained Goku and Krillin since they were kids.
He's a skilled fighter and all, but why oh why does he have to be such a pervert?
I've heard a lot of rumors about this guy.
He's looked the same for so many years. Think he's got some kind of ancient technique to keep himself from aging?
When the turtle hermit drops the perversion and gets serious, he's a tough one. To handle training Goku, he'd have to be.
He always gave it his all, whether it be when Frieza came to Earth or at the Tournament of Power.
He looks so different compared to when he's relaxing at Kame House.
He and Tien Shinhan used to train under the sinister Crane Hermit. Also, for some reason, he's always looked like he's a tiny baby.
Despite how cute he looks, I know he's like a telekinetic assassin or something, right? Underestimate him and you'll pay the price.
He has a brave and honorable side to him. One time, he gave his life for Tien Shinhan with a kamikaze attack. He's hung out a lot with Goku and Krillin. These days, I think he spends a lot of time at Korin's tower.
Is Yajirobe a farmer? He always seems to be bringing beans to Goku and Piccolo.
Those are sensu beans. I've tried some before. Not sure how they work, but they always help Goku and his friends get healed up.
This is Goku when he was young, right around the time I became a blushing bride.
He proposed to you at the World Martial Arts Tournament, didn't he?
Yep, we made a promise to wed when we were just little kids.
Aw, that's so romantic!
This was around the time when Goku was all about fighting and never about working.
Isn't he pretty much always like that, though?
Yeah, that's kind of true, I guess.
Ugh, Super Saiyans drive me nuts! My whole family looks like a bunch of delinquents after they transform, and they never listen to me.
Oh, give it a rest.
It just makes them tougher, that's all.
Goku was jumping between the living world and the other world so much. Gohan and Goten didn't get to spend a lot of time with him.
Between Cell, the Supreme Kai, and all the Majin stuff, that was a real tough time to be raising kids.
Being a good mom is a crazy job, huh?
There it is again. I really wish Goku would set a better example for our kids.
I'm just impressed about how many times Goku has saved the planet by now.
For real! And he's a first-rate martial artist to boot.
This is even worse than his base form of delinquency. I don't know what goes on in that man's head sometimes.
At my age, I don't think I can pull off a hairstyle like that.
I mean, it does make him look pretty intimidating, though.
Look how scary he is! I hope Gohan doesn't try to copy this look.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
With how smiley Goku tends to be, seeing him like this is almost uncanny. When Vegeta first came to Earth, he kept going on and on about being a prince or an elite or whatever. I just remember how nasty his attitude was.
Now he's a father of two and fights alongside Goku. Wow!
You and Goku were really positive influences on him.
I'm so glad Trunks doesn't have a tail. If they both turned into this thing, my house would be in shambles.
Mention it, Vegeta doesn't have a tail. I heard that he used to, though.
That's because Yajirobe sliced it off back when Vegeta was fighting with Gohan. Bulma, remind me, was this around the time he started living with you?
That's right. He just seemed so lonely. I couldn't help but want to take care of him. Next thing I knew, well, you know.
I'm so glad Vegeta met you, Bulma.
And Vegeta follows the trend. Saiyans, they're all alike.
Ooh, blonde works for me too. If anything, I'm kinda envious how easily he can change his hairstyle.
You're a lot more tolerant of that kind of stuff, aren't you?
Okay, real talk. I don't see much of a difference here.
Yeah, I don't really get it either.
Ever talked with him about what the deal with this form was?
Haven't asked. Even if I did, I doubt he'd say a word about it. I remember this time. You should have seen how elated Vegeta was when he heard Goku was allowed to come back to life for one day for the tournament.
Right. Vegeta and Trunks got to participate in the World Tournament as father and son.
Gotta give credit to Vegeta for being a supportive father. Our husbands both got to see their boys compete in the arena.
By this time, Vegeta had become very used to being in his Super Saiyan form on a regular basis.
Man, Vegeta's a hard worker.
I think he was always frustrated that Goku became a Super Saiyan first.
Vegeta as a Super Saiyan 2. He hated losing so much, he dedicated himself fully to getting on Goku's level.
Didn't he use some kind of special room with a gravity-changing machine? He'd have to be.
Vegeta as a Super Saiyan 2. He hated losing so much, he dedicated himself fully to getting on Goku's level.
Didn't he use some kind of special room with a gravity-changing machine? He'd have to be nuts to work out in a place like that.
Oh, wow! A whole room just for training! Rich people's houses, am I right?
This was when Vegeta's power was enhanced by Babidi. I couldn't believe he wanted to go back to being his old evil self for a time.
Hey, something's written on his forehead. I wonder what the M stands for.
Some kind of new fashion trend? Beats the heck out of me. Oh, look at my sweet little angel. Ever since he was born, I just knew he would study hard and be an academic genius.
Gohan's been a hard worker ever since he was little, and so dedicated to his studies. He's the best.
He's never seemed like he enjoys fighting. Funny how he's the complete opposite of Goku.
This is Gohan when he was fighting Cell and the androids. I know he was defending the Earth, but he had me worried sick!
Honestly, leaving the fate of the world in the hands of a single kid? That was a huge gamble Goku took.
Gohan really got put through the ringer as a kid.
This was Gohan at the start of his delinquent phase. He's already so handsome, he doesn't need to be blonde.
Gotta admit, though, he wears the golden spikes really well.
But ever since this happened, he let his martial arts training get too much in the way of his studies.
I don't think being behind on his studies has anything to do with being blonde.
I think he was around 10 years old by then. Becoming
This was Gohan at the start of his delinquent phase. He's already so handsome, he doesn't need to be blonde.
Gotta admit, though, he wears the golden spikes really well.
But ever since this happened, he let his martial arts training get too much in the way of his studies.
I don't think being behind on his studies has anything to do with being blonde.
I think he was around 10 years old by then. Becoming a Super Saiyan at that age takes real innate talent.
With guys like Goku and Vegeta, I'd say he had some pretty great role models to be inspired by.
Gohan fought so hard to save the whole planet. I shouldn't be so hard on him.
Ugh, the Cell games. That was a rough time for everybody.
Cell was going to self-destruct, taking the Earth with him, until Goku teleported him away at the last second.
Not only was Gohan in danger, but then Goku's sacrifice. Oh, Chi-Chi, you've seriously had it rough.
I'll never let my voice die again.
This was Gohan when we were attending Orange Star High School. I had my suspicions about him, but I never could have guessed he was part alien.
Right, this was when the World Tournament was being held. Can't remember who took home the prize money.
The gang flew off, leaving Mr. Satan to fight 18 in a battle royale. Technically, he won, but he didn't exactly beat her.
Did Dad take credit for something he didn't actually do again? Ugh, and he hasn't even been training lately. They called this form the Gold Fighter. He'd stop bank robbers on the way to school like a part-time vigilante.
No matter what he looks like, on the inside, I know he's my kind, wonderful little boy.
That sounds about right for Gohan. Peace only lasts so long, and a Saiyan can't just sit still with all that power. Glad he used it for good.
It's been a while, but I think the first time that Gohan became this form was when he faced that Kibito guy in the arena.
Oh, that was when he got stabbed by those two freaks with a magic lamp-looking thing.
I remember that, and then Majin Buu came along right after. That was probably the craziest time of my whole life. Our hero, Great Saiyaman, the righteous warrior who protects our fair city's peace.
I invented the device that allowed him to instantly change into his outfit wherever he wanted.
No matter what weird phases he goes through, my son is a true hero at heart. A superhero. Well, Gohan definitely looks stronger and not like a delinquent for once. Otherwise, I don't get this form.
From what he told me, the Elder Supreme Kai performed a ceremony to unlock his latent inner power.
Saiyans do the strangest things. I remember Trunks mentioned that this Gohan was his teacher in the future. That's why he looks so vastly different from the one we know today.
No matter how old he gets or even what timeline he's from, my little Gohan is just the cutest thing.